Okay, what Erling Haaland is doing with the Norway national team isn't normal. They're not just winning, they're winning with style, with dominance, with brutality, making every opponent look helpless. High-speed transitions, wide channel explosions, perfect automatisms, and every time they drive forward, there's only one goal: give the ball to Haaland so he can destroy whatever stands in front of him. And the result is terrifying. So why is Norway one of the scariest national teams heading into the 2026 World Cup? Just look at the numbers. 8 qualifying matches, 8 wins, 37 goals scored, only 5 conceded. A plus 32 goal difference. They didn't just qualify, they crushed the entire group and are returning to the World Cup for the first time since France '98, under a striker who feels like a glitch in football reality. Haaland scored in every single match, finishing with 16 goals in the qualifiers, averaging 2 per gamer level, seen only in video games. He now has 55 goals in 48 appearances for his country. But here's the part. Everyone outside Norway still doesn't understand. This team is not just Haaland. This is a golden generation. And the system around him is built to shred defences. In goal, Ørjan Nyland has been a rock. At the back, Premier League talent Christopher Ajer has played like a defensive talisman, while Julian Ryerson, Dortmund's workhorse, has become a key weapon. On the right. 3 assists recently prove his influence, chemistry, and timing with both Sørloth and Haaland. But the real terror comes in attack. Antonio Nusa, the Norwegian Neymar, brings chaos, dribbling, rhythm, and raw unpredictability. He's uncontainable, and his shooting power makes him a danger from anywhere. Young gems like Oscar Bob, Thalo Asgard, and Andreas Schjelderup add technique, flair, and intelligence that elevate the entire system. And don't forget Sander Berge, a Premier League midfielder growing stronger every season, adding stability and verticality. Still, there are 2 players who supercharge this machine. Without them, Norway wouldn't look the same. Alexander Sørloth, the perfect partner to Haaland, a physical monster at 1.95 metres who opens doors when defences collapse around Erling. Their chemistry is lethal, and Sørloth himself has been on fire, even scoring 2 goals in 2 minutes. And then Martin Odegaard, the brain, the playmaker, the engine. Simply put, if Odegaard is fit, Norway can beat anyone. He's the best creator in the Premier League, a generational talent like Haaland, and his vision accelerates every move Norway makes. His passes drag defences into panic mode, feeding Haaland with surgical precision. Ståle Solbakken has built a team that's far more than a superstar striker. This Norway is structured, explosive, balanced, fearless. And if the world isn't paying attention yet, they will soon. Because Haaland's Norway isn't just good Norway, it's a World Cup nightmare waiting to happen. Norway's transformation didn't begin with a miracle win, it began with humiliation. That brutal 5-1 defeat against Austria in Linz, October 2024, was the moment every critic pointed at Norway and said, they're not ready, they're naive, they're not built for elite football. But instead of collapsing, something switched. In the final 2 games of the Nations League, Norway regrouped, rebuilt themselves emotionally, and topped the group to earn promotion to Ligue A. And that moment, according to ex-Norway international Torstvedt, was the turning point. Those scenes when Norway won the Nations League group, you could feel something new happening, he said. It may have only been promotion, but for us it meant everything. Just weeks earlier, people were calling Solbakken useless. Suddenly, we'd won something. The whole mindset changed. From that night onwards, Norway have become a different beast entirely. With Odegaard wearing the armband and setting the tempo, Solbakken's side have gone on to win 11 consecutive competitive matches. And not by narrow margins, by demolition. The run has been pure violence. 5-0 versus Kazakhstan, then straight into World Cup qualifying with a 5-0 versus Moldova, 4-2 versus Israel, 3-0 versus Italy, 1-0 versus Estonia, 1-0 versus Finland, 11-1 versus Moldova, 5-0 versus Israel, 4-1 versus Estonia, and 4-1 versus Italy at San Siro. But the match that echoed across Europe was the 5-0 destruction of Israel. Their coach, Ran Ben Shimon, stunned after 90 minutes of torture, said the quiet part out loud. I believe Norway are one of the 2 best teams in Europe, together with Spain. No sarcasm, no exaggeration, just brutal honesty. Solbakken is cooking. He has assembled the most explosive attacking side in Europe right now. No team in UEFA qualifying has scored more goals with 37, provided more assists with 29, or produced a higher expected goals with 24.70. And defensively, only 5 goals conceded in 8 matches, a record that was unthinkable for a team without an elite goalkeeper and a backline built out of necessity rather than luxury. Solbakken, now approaching 57, understands exactly why this version of Norway works. The key is that I've finally had time to build a group that feels comfortable with our way of playing, he explains. Maybe I was too ambitious at the start, but this squad needed a front foot identity to impose ourselves even against the stronger nations. And then came the 2 matches that sent a message to the entire continent. Norway beat Italy twice 7-1 on aggregate in Oslo. Odegaard was pure elegance. Haaland and Sørloth were ruthless. And Nusa was simply unplayable. The Norwegian Neymar on full display. At San Siro, it was even more shocking. Haaland scored twice in 2 minutes, and Norway hit Italy with 4 goals in 45 minutes, after gifting them the first half. They were solid at the back, balanced in midfield even without Odegaard, and devastating in attack. Nusa electric, Ryerson powerful, Sørloth clinical, and Haaland merciless. Norway didn't just evolve, they mutated. They stopped being the underdog, they became the bully. Norway's attacking explosion in 2025 is something Europe simply wasn't prepared for, because across 11 matches, they haven't just been winning, they've been dismantling opponents with a level of consistency and brutality that feels closer to a title-winning club side than a national team, scoring over 3 goals in 8 of those matches and averaging an absurd 3.5 goals per game across a stretch of fixtures where no defence, regardless of reputation or tactical structure, has been able to slow them down. From the 44 goals Norway have scored in these 11 matches, Erling Haaland alone has produced 19, and the frightening part is that even that number feels conservative when you watch how he's dominating every phase of the attack, with the authority of a player who's entering the peak of his powers with terrifying momentum. Because Haaland isn't just breaking defensive lines, he's quietly stepping into a direct chase with the greatest goalscorer international football has ever seen, Cristiano Ronaldo, whose 143 goals in 226 caps were widely considered an untouchable benchmark for future generations, a record meant to survive eras, cycles and evolutions of the game. But Haaland, at just 25 years old, has already ripped that assumption apart with a statistical profile that is borderline supernatural. 55 goals in 48 matches for Norway, averaging a strike every 71.3 minutes, which is less than half the time Cristiano needed to maintain his legendary scoring ratio with Portugal. His 2025 form has only accelerated the conversation because this calendar year alone, Haaland has scored 17 goals in 9 matches, meaning he's averaging a goal every 44.2 minutes and is barely reaching half-time before he's already found the net, turning international fixtures into predictable routines where defenders know what is coming but remain powerless to stop it. To catch Cristiano's projected 150 goal finish, Haaland needs 95 more goals, and at his current pace that would take only 47 matches, meaning he could break the record before turning 31, which is an outcome nobody believed possible even 2 years ago when his international numbers were merely elite and not historic. Even if Haaland regressed to his long-term average, still an outrageous goal. Every 71 minutes he would break Ronaldo's record around 2035 or 2036, at roughly 34 years of age, and he would do it with a margin of matches so wide that the comparison would become shocking rather than celebratory. His performances have matched those numbers, especially in the iconic win over Italy, where Haaland showcased 2 qualities that often get overshadowed by his finishing: his ability to generate play and his mastery of movement in the box, something he executed perfectly on his first goal by maintaining the ideal distance from his marker, giving Oscar Bob a clear passing line and finishing with a volley so pure that Donnarumma couldn't even stretch to react. 1 minute later he displayed the part of his game that terrifies elite centre-backs, which is his timing in transition, dropping deep like a classic target man after Bob recovered the ball, playing Patrick Berg into space on the wing and then accelerating between both central defenders to guide the perfect cross into the bottom of the net with the coldness of a machine built for this exact scenario. Right now Haaland is scoring from tight angles, from long range, from headers, from rebounds,
stops it, he can't stop Haaland,
from low crosses, from high crosses, every situation inside or around the box has become a scoring opportunity the moment the ball reaches his orbit. And that level of inevitability is something the international game hasn't seen since the primes of Ronaldo and Luis Suarez. But what truly makes this front line unstoppable is that Haaland is not alone, because Antonio Nusa has evolved into a genuine elite winger with the explosiveness and unpredictability worthy of the Norwegian Neymar nickname, producing dribbles that break entire defensive blocks and finishes that belong to world-class talent, as seen in Oslo where he shredded the Italian backline before smashing the ball into the top corner. And again in Milan where he reversed the angle, dribbling from inside to outside and curling the ball with the outside of his boot into the far top corner. Sørloth completes the triangle of destruction with a profile that enhances every one of Haaland's strengths, because the Atletico striker brings aerial dominance.
Stop that one! Sørloth on his own!
Elite hold-up play, sharp understanding of vertical lanes.
And Sørloth!
And an innate sense of when to drop, when to drag defenders away, and when to deliver the final ball, which makes him the perfect physical and tactical partner for Haaland's hyper-efficient style. Together, Haaland, Nusa and Sørloth have combined for 89 international goals, forming a front line that feels engineered in a laboratory for maximum punishment, synchronised aggression, and impossible to contain finishing. And the more matches they play together, the more inevitable Norway's goals have become. This is not a normal attack, this is a phenomenon, a system, a machine built to overwhelm, and right now it looks genuinely unstoppable. We've already broken down how terrifying Norway's attack is, but now we need to talk about the true core of this machine. The football brain, the metronome, the emotional anchor, and the most indispensable player in Solbakkens' entire system, Martin Odegaard. Just like Haaland, Odegaard is a generational footballer, a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and without any debate, the best creative midfielder in the Premier League. If injuries had been just a bit kinder across his early years, he'd be standing right next to Pedri as the most refined playmaker in world football, because his intelligence, his feel for the tempo, and his ability to control matches are things that can't be taught. Odegaard blends technical finesse with tactical clarity in a way almost no midfielder of his age can replicate. His left foot creates passing angles out of absolutely nothing, generating windows that defenders don't even recognise until the ball's already past them. He manipulates tight spaces with microscopic touches, constantly shifting his body shape to open the next lane. His spatial awareness is elite level. He always knows where the pressure is coming from, where the next pass must go, and which zone he needs to occupy to progress play. Add his pressing intensity, his silk-like balance, his set-piece mastery, and suddenly it makes perfect sense why he captains Arsenal, one of the strongest tactical teams on the planet and the absolute kings of set-piece routines. The recognition Odegaard receives didn't appear out of thin air. He earned it through disguised passes that rip defensive blocks apart, long-range finishes that shift momentum instantly, and intuitive chemistry with teammates at a level matched only by world-class midfielders. With Arsenal, he has already surpassed 40 goal contributions, but for Norway, he becomes even more influential. A hat-trick of assists against Israel.
Haaland as Norway squads. Odegaard. Haaland finishes it. There's
a double assist plus a goal against Moldova, and a level of midfield control that very few national teams in the world can replicate. And crucially, the player who unlocks Haaland better than anyone else is Martin Odegaard. If both arrive healthy to the World Cup, this duo will terrify defences. Their chemistry is so natural, so fluid, so devastatingly precise that the Italy match in Oslo felt like a warning shot to the entire planet. Odegaard spotted Haaland attacking the gap between the right back and centre back, threaded a surgical pass between Donnarumma and the back line, and Haaland, arriving with that physics-breaking acceleration, rounded the keeper in a tiny pocket of space before finishing with unreal composure. But the most frightening part is Odegaard's variety. His intelligence allows him to decide perfectly between carrying the ball into space, breaking lines with quick wall passes, or launching long, laser-accurate deliveries into the exact channel Haaland wants. The best example is Haaland's third goal against Moldova. Odegaard, from slightly behind the halfway line, recognised the movement instantly and simply invited Haaland to attack the space. The striker exploded forward, created a two-body gap in seconds, forced the goalkeeper into a desperate charge, stayed cold-blooded, followed the rebound and chipped it into the far post like a superstar who plays the game 2 seconds ahead of everyone else. Thorstvedt sees the shift as the moment Norway stopped fearing opponents. A lot of things seem to come together at once, he adds. Odegaard went from being a good player for Norway to being sensational. Antonio Nusa, who has struggled at club level, suddenly looked like a world-class winger in a Norway shirt and has looked so since. And when you have Haaland scoring more than a goal per game for his country, well, scoring week in, week out for Manchester City is one thing, but doing it for Norway is something else. Entirely. No one's done that before. Ståle Solbakken has redesigned Norway from the inside out. What once was a tense, reactive team that panicked under pressure has transformed into a side that now uses possession as protection, structure as identity, and intelligence as their most dangerous weapon. While the world focuses on Haaland's absurd goal numbers and Odegaard's playmaking genius, Solbakken's greatest breakthrough has been structural, not individual. Norway are not just attacking more, they're attacking smarter, with a system that amplifies every piece on the board. The evolution from reactive underdogs to a fully proactive, possession-dominant machine defines the Solbakken era. His fingerprints are everywhere. A compact 4-3-3/4-2-3-1 that morphs into a pressing diamond. Ball circulation designed to bait pressure before slicing through opponents. And a collective insistence on bravery when on the ball. Tactically, there are some similarities to 1998, Solbakken says, especially our zonal defensive organisation. At a time when many teams prefer man-to-man, I think that gives us an edge. That edge has turned into a signature. Anchored by Kristoffer Ajer and Torbjørn Heggem, Norway's zonal scheme keeps distances tight, protects central spaces, and forces interceptions rather than chaotic physical duels. For a team that once bled goals in every qualifying cycle, this disciplined structure has become quietly revolutionary. The midfield reflects that transformation too, especially through Sander Berge, now reborn at Fulham with confidence and consistency, rarely seen in his Premier League years. He'd taken a lot of criticism, Thorstvedt says, but he is finally showing what a brilliant player he is. Solbakken agrees. Berge struggled at Sheffield United and Burnley, but has now taken a huge step forward, and Norway built a tailor-made role for him. That role as a right-sided box-to-box number 8 who shadows Odegaard when attacking and drops into the double pivot when defending, has given Norway a perfect blend of craft, structure and athleticism. His ability to progress under pressure and drive forward complements Patrick Berg's deeper passing and Odegaard's creative precision. And Norway's evolution isn't just visible in highlights and heat maps, the data confirms it. Before the last round of fixtures, they led Europe in 1 versus 1, take-ons 34.7 per 90, ahead of Belgium and Spain, and also ranked first in progressive runs, 26.1 per 90, reflecting both confidence and system. Their dribbling output, unusual for Norway's footballing identity, has an explanation. With Oscar Bob and Antonio Nusa, elite dribblers by nature, the team is instructed to isolate fullbacks high up the pitch, while the midfield three hold the entire structure together defensively, which explains why Norway concedes so few despite attacking so boldly. And at the heart of Solbakken's blueprint is Haaland's role within the system. His 16 goals in 8 qualifiers prove ruthlessness. Yes, but his selflessness is even more revealing. The relentless pressing, the sacrifice runs that open space for Odegaard and Nusa, the constant decoy movement that makes the attack unpredictable. Solbakken's role shouldn't be underestimated, Thorstvedt insists. He masters both people and tactics. He's brutally honest and straight-talking, but that clarity earns him respect. He even gave Oscar Bob a public hairdryer moment at Ullevål, and the squad loved him for it. Ask Solbakken what holds it all together, and the answer is instant distances. The spacing between lines, between players, between decisions. Simple in theory, devastating in execution. That synchronization allows Odegaard to find impossible angles, Haaland to time runs with physics-breaking precision, and the back four to defend without retreating. Leadership has also become a pillar. The fact that players like Odegaard, Haaland, Berge, and Sørloth carry leadership roles at their clubs has helped us massively, Solbakken says. But we've shared leadership within the group. The culture sustains us. Even Haaland's global superstardom hasn't overshadowed the collective. If anything, it enhances it. The media wants him, the security is built around him, but he's so down to earth that he fits perfectly. So yes, this Norway side is much more than Haaland, much more than Odegaard. This is a fully synchronized machine, built with discipline, aggression, structure, intelligence, and belief. A team nobody will want to face in the World Cup. Draw a team that has no fear and no breaks. A team designed to be a nightmare.